Hey, this is Brian from ActiveMelody.com. Well, I had a suggestion this week to do a lesson on turnarounds. And I've done lessons on turnarounds in the past, but I thought I would do kind of a different version this week and show you how to play 3 different turnarounds, but more importantly, show you how to transpose them so that you can play them in any key. So you're not just limited to the key that I showed it to you in. If you're not familiar with a turnaround, it's just what happens when you're playing a predictable progression like a 12-bar blues, and you're going from like the 5 chord back to the 1 chord. So, a typical turnaround might be something like that kind of thing. You know what's happening. You're getting back so that you can repeat the progression again. So that's a turnaround. You're turning around back to the start. And so anyway, in this lesson, I'm going to show you how to play 3 different ones, and the jam tracks that are included are in different keys. So I have one in the key of G, one in the key of A, and one in the key of C. So that way you can practice playing them in different keys. And also the tablature will be available as well. So you'll want to go to ActiveMelody.com and look for EP038 if you want to download those assets. Let's go ahead and take a look at the lesson. Alright, so let's take a look at the first turnaround. Now I'm going to play this in the key of G. But I will show you how to transpose this so you can play it in the key of A and play along with the A jam track, and transpose it up to the key of C so you can play along with the C jam track. And hopefully you'll understand conceptually how you could transpose this into the key of D or D sharp or E or any of them. And I'll kind of walk you through that. But first, let's take a look at this lick. Now here's what we're going to learn. It's a lot of fun to do, and the important thing to point out is when you start this lick. So when you're practicing along with a jam track, in fact, let me just play along with the jam track so you can see exactly when you come in. Alright, so listen where to start. It's right here on the 1. You'll hear it. Let me do it again just so you can hear where it starts. Okay, there's the chord before it, and then Alright, so if you have your tablature, you may want to get that out. That'll definitely help when you're trying to learn this. But if not, just kind of follow along. The first 5 notes we're going to learn are these. Now, let's take a look at the left hand. So what I'm doing here is, you'll notice that I'm barring the first 2 strings on the 3rd fret, and my index finger kind of stays down. See how it just stays locked? Now the middle finger and the ring finger kind of dance around, but the pointer finger stays locked down there. And what we're doing is we're kind of jumping between the minor pentatonic scale and the major pentatonic scale, which is the difference between sort of sad or bluesy and happy. And this is kind of a sweet spot for jumping in between those 2 scales, the major and the minor pentatonic scale. So that's a whole other lesson. But so anyway, fretting the first 2, or barring the first 2 strings here on the 3rd fret, and the first note is the 6th fret 1st string. Then I'm going to take my finger off and play the 3rd fret 1st string. So. And I'm just alternate picking, so it's just down, up, down, up, down, up with my right hand. Down, up, down. Now this time I put my ring finger down on the 5th fret 1st string. So I started here, down there. Now, while that's down, I'm going to take my middle finger and come down and play on the 5th fret 2nd string. So we have those 4. Now I'm going to take both of those fingers off, still keeping the bar down, do an upstroke on the 1st string, 3rd fret, to repeat that note. Those are those first 5 notes. So let's do it slowly. Alright, so now let's learn the next 7 notes, which are these. So let me do it slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And what I'm doing there, notice my pointer finger kind of stays down. I'm going to go ahead and push down with my ring finger. Now you may want to do that with your pinky, by the way. It's just kind of whatever's easiest. The way my hand is, or the way I learned to do this, is I don't use my pinky a lot with the left hand. So I know you purists always give me a hard time for that, but that's just sort of the way I learned it. So anyway, I'm on the 2nd string on the 6th fret there with my ring finger. Now I take my middle finger and come down and play the 5th fret 2nd string. Then I take both of those off and have just my pointer finger on the 3rd fret 2nd string. So we have... Alright, so all together up to this point we have... Okay, now after that, then I'm going to take my ring finger and I'm going to come down to the 5th fret 3rd string, play that note. Again, this kind of stays down the whole time. Now I'm going to release that and come back and play just the 2nd string on the 3rd fret. So that's where we're at now. Now watch what happens. Now I come up and I'm going to, while this finger comes off, then I take my finger and I bar the first 3 strings, because now I'm going to play the 3rd fret 3rd string. Play that note. So here's what it sounds like in context. So see, I play that 2nd string on the 3rd fret, then I play the 3rd string on the 3rd fret. Okay, here it is slowly, all of it. Okay, now after that, then I take my ring finger and I come down and play the 4th string on the 5th fret. Alright, so now I'm going to take those first 5 notes and add those next 7 notes that we learned, and here's those first 12 notes. Then all that's left to conclude this is this. And for that, again, I just keep barring the first 3 strings on the 3rd fret, and I'm going to come and play the 3rd fret 3rd string, and then I'm going to hammer on with my middle finger onto the 4th fret 3rd string, like that. And the hammer happens pretty quickly after picking the note, like that. After I hammer that on, then I'm going to play the 3rd fret 2nd string, still part of the bar. Now I'm going to take my middle finger and I'm going to reach up here and play the 5th fret 5th string. And it's important to use your middle finger because this is actually going to be part of a chord. So you hit that note first, and then while that's kind of ringing out, I'm going to let my pointer finger come down and play the 4th fret 4th string, and my ring finger play the 5th fret 3rd string, so that I've got that, which is a D 7th. Now, if you want to give it a nice, I think sometimes I would put my pinky down and play here on the 5th fret 2nd string to give it that sound. But it doesn't matter. I mean, if that's happening so quickly, you could do it either way. So those last little notes are, and that's the timing of it. Okay, so now let me back up and I'll play the whole thing together slowly. So here we go. One more time. Alright, so to switch keys, all you have to do is know where your root fret is. And the root fret is just the fret that, if you're playing a bar chord, it's the fret that you would bar. So that becomes the bar becomes your root fret. So we just did that in the key of G. So if you're playing a G bar chord, it looks like that, right? So that means that this is that anchor where you're, see how that's kind of anchored there? It's all happening on your root fret. Now that you conceptually can see that, if we're going to play this same lick in the key of A for the A jam track, you play an A bar chord here. See? A chord. So that means this is where I root, or where I anchor, and I do the exact same lick, but now I'm going to do it up here. And once you can start to visualize a neck this way, the frets won't matter so much when you're learning something. You just need to remember these patterns, and that's sort of how you ultimately want to visualize scales and solos and things. So then to play in the key of C, your C bar chord would be up here. And that means that this is where your anchor would be. So it would sound like this. So that way you can practice along with all of those different jam tracks.